FM.
Once again, we say thank you for joining us here on the Joy Sports Link. My name is Nathaniel Attoh. Always a pleasure to serve you around this time on a Saturday. And of course, we're coming off 48 hours of a shocking exit of former President Jerry John Rawlings, the leader under whose administration Ghana won her last Africa Cup of Nations title, 2 FIFA Under-17 World Cups, and at least 3 of Ghana's 10 boxing world titles. So what is important at this point is to focus on the positive impact that former President Rawlings made on sports during his lifetime. He will be missed greatly, there's no doubt about that. And personally, I will also miss his presence at ringside during some very big fight nights. Well, coincidentally, the Ghana Boxing Authority has received a letter of condolence from the Commonwealth Boxing Council on the passing of the former president. The letter signed by the Commonwealth Boxing Council's Secretary, Debbie Brown, acknowledged the contributions of President Rawlings to the growth of the sport as well as his association with it.
That take a soldier's heart. Ocean.
May he rest well. And I'd like to once again extend my condolences to others who find themselves in similar situations. Our very own Doreen Ando, who buried her father last weekend. Lawyer Charles Zwenis Jr., the board chairman of Republic Bank, a big friend of, the multimedia group, who buried his mother last weekend. And also our very own seasoned banker, Patrick Caverge, also known as Allegro, who lost his mother yesterday. You're all part of the big multimedia family, and we share in your grief. So on the back of all of this, the much-awaited 2020-2021 football season starts this weekend. And of course, ahead of that, the Youth and Sports Ministry issued a directive that all sporting events be held behind closed doors. In line with all of this, we also had more drama with the cancellation of the game between Adriana Stars and Accra Hearts of Oak. Of course, this is due to the fact that there is more testing required, especially on the part of Accra Hearts of Oak. So we're doing a big look ahead to the 2020-2021 football season with all of these new developments in focus. Joy Sports has been your lead when it comes to looking ahead to the Ghana Premier League season with the introduction of the Joy Sports GPL Primer. We brought you the Hearts of Oak edition first, and then we brought you the Asante Kotoko edition, and then we brought you the Omnibus edition last night with Hans Mensah Andor and Muftar Nabila Abdullahi. Just in case you missed out, don't worry, get on any of our social media handles at Joy Sports GH on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and you surely will be in on the links to watch the show all over again. Very exciting and very interesting. So we're back to take a look, a very, very close look at what we should be expecting, what administration is doing, how prepared the clubs are. Of course, we've been told of the cancellation of the game between Adriana and Accra Hearts of Oak. All other games are expected to come off, all things being equal. And of course, in Formula One, we will be throwing the focus on the Turkish Grand Prix. There's been some very heavy rain at the tracks in Istanbul, and there is a likelihood that practice may be suspended. We'll be getting an update. Kwabena Poku is already seated. We're expecting to be joined by Toyin Dania. makes an appearance after I don't know how many weeks. Toyin, you're welcome, and thank you very much for joining us. It's good to see you.
And you.
Great. Governor, good to see you.
Good to see you, my brother.
And of course, later on, we'll be having this big conversation with the General Secretary of the Ghana Football Association, Lawyer Prosper Harrison Niakwe Attoh. You didn't know Niakwe was part of the name, right? So in a bit, I'll be letting you in on what's happening, especially with practice. Beg your pardon, qualifiers. I need some pineapple juice or something. We'll be listening to what's happening on qualifiers in a bit in our Formula One segment. Of course, there's going to be deep competition. And talking about going deep, it's time to go for deep, real freshness with 48-hour protection from sweat and bacteria, and 48-hour deep moisturization with the new Nivea Men Deep range of products. Use the Nivea Men Deep Shower Gel for a clean, deep feeling. Apply the Deep Impact Body Lotion for a 48-hour moisturized skin, and use the Nivea Men Deep Deodorant with Black Carbon formula for a fresh, clean feeling that lasts. Be the real deal. And the guys admire it, the ladies love it. Nivea Men, it starts with you. Official sponsors of Real Madrid. Okay. Lady, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me. It's good to see you. It could have been better circumstances, right? We've lost Chairman Rawlings.
May his soul rest.
Yeah,
Amen.
My memories run deep of that man.
Yeah. And relating to what we're doing here, he was a lover of antique cars, especially antique fast cars.
Yes, he did.
You know,
he was. He was.
Well, let's get into what's happening with qualifying today. There was some rain, some very heavy rain on the tracks, and it was getting a little difficult for the drivers.
Plenty. Oh my God, it's like an ice rink out there. I'm so looking forward to the race because if it rains tomorrow, oh my God, we know Lewis is a rain master, but
sure.
The other drivers, just to show their skill, what are they like in the rain? I mean, we're coming to the end of the season, so it's going to be really, really interesting. These drivers who are trying to get their points, okay, so to take advantage of other people that have accidents, etc. So it's just going to be interesting. For us, the fans, we want to see a lot of activity. We don't like the procession races, etc. So the weather brings a different element that makes it more exciting for us.
And the accidents as well?
You've not had a typical rain this season.
year.
So for me, I'm kind of happy it's actually happened. They've called off qualifiers, red flagged it because the rains were coming down heavy. So we're hoping it may drive for them to continue. Else, tomorrow morning we'll have a double dose. It means that they will continue the qualifying early in the morning, which will be like done in Ghana before the main race, which is a morning race in Ghana. It's about 10 a.m. in the morning tomorrow. So for me, it's adding the excitement to it, and it's fun.
I see. Interesting stuff there. So obviously, Hamilton is the rain master. So any surprise to expect for tomorrow?
Well, if it continues like this, I wonder where he's going to be qualifying to start from. Because it looks more of the Red Bulls have been taking advantage of the rain throughout the practice sessions, but now they are struggling. And guess who's leading? Ocon.
Come on.
The rain adds more of the fun in times like this. You will find some unpredictable in the whole race. So it'll be fun to see what he does tomorrow. He knows he can win the title tomorrow in terms of equaling Schumacher's record. So he's still keeping a cool head. You could tell. Okay,
so let's see how it goes. I always like to dwell on the surprise element, especially with what you're telling us about Ocon. But what will be the surprise element? I mean, put the Hamilton away. Put him in a little glass case and put him on the side.
Perez.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Reason?
He needs to get on the podium. I mean, the guy needs to get something up his butt to get him working this season. So I'd like to see him on the podium. So he's going to be a surprise for me because he's got 3 races to the end of the season. He's got to get better.
Okay.
My surprise will be I'll probably go for Sainz. You know, he's trying to make his mark in terms of the McLaren team before he leaves and joins Ferrari next season. So my surprise will go to Carlos Sainz and probably Ocon as well. Yeah.
Okay. Now we're building up gradually to the end of the season, like we've said, and everybody's already looking forward to 2021 with hopefully improved situations and circumstances, so that fans can possibly get the opportunity to go and watch these races physically and all of that. But here's where we are now. I mean, we have 21 races for the next season. 23 actually. Okay, 23 of them for next season. Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. Vietnam is joining in. Saudi Arabia is also joining in. So we have 23 races, and I'm just hoping the new Formula One boss coming through, and with the discovery of this new vaccine for COVID, they will be able to, run all the 23 races for next season. It's going to be a challenging thing for him, but from what I've actually read about him and seeing what he's done in the past, he's a very, very level-headed person. And he's keeping his cool to be able to run that particular season. For us in Ghana, if things go well, we will be able to organize all 23 viewing parties throughout the season. Some members obviously are already gearing up to travel next season.
Absolutely. Monaco, Singapore, here we come.
Exactly. Some are even talking about going to Saudi Arabia for the first Saudi Arabia Grand Prix. It's actually the circuit is on the beach.
Wow.
So it's going to be very beautiful. I mean, they've had a backlash in terms of human rights and all those things. But Formula One is still going to Saudi Arabia, like it or not.
Sure.
So next season we're gearing up for an interesting season. 23 races. Some of them are going to be, I think, about back to back for about 8 of them.
Yeah.
Continuous action. So it will be 2021 will be very, very interesting, and it will be interesting to see the kind of contract Lewis is actually going to sign with Mercedes, and what kind of action he's going to take next season. Is he going to go for the 8th record, championship record? Nobody knows. But as for going for the number of wins, I'm seeing Lewis probably doing 115.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, look, once he's in good health and he keeps it going, look, he will set a very big record. And interestingly, I'm seeing a very difficult path for anybody who'd want to chase that. That's going to be a lot of work.
Not in our lifetime.
Not in our lifetime. I mean,
unless they change the circuits and the rules.
Even with the new rules coming through, somebody catching up with Lewis now? No.
Nah. Also, so there's also the inter-schools and uni go-kart competition.
Yes, so what we're working towards next year is we're working towards a go-karting competition, which will be more of inter-schools and inter-colleges for our next season. This is what we're working with Motorsport Federation, which we are currently going through the process of aligning it with the National Sports Authority.
Sure.
And then next year we'll try to start grooming our own from home. Some competitions, when they win, we take them out to some of these F1 companies, training programs and things like that. So going into next year, we have a lot of activities for the motorsport community in Ghana. I mean, you saw what happened last week at the Afariwa,
the airstrip. Yes, exactly.
Airstrip, It shows you the enthusiasm behind motorsport in the country and how fast it's growing. So, I mean, for us going into next year, we have a packed calendar, we have packed activities. We will be announcing a whole lot of activities and things coming up. I mean, for instance, 28th of this month, the Ghana Grand Prix guys are having their second Ghana Grand Prix at the La Race Course, which is also going to be part of our calendar for next year. And then going forward, we are going to be having most of these Grand Prix with the Ghana Grand Prix guys, and then also with the schools and colleges in the system. So we have a very, very packed activity coming up 2021. Yeah.
I see. Interesting stuff. Okay, so plans for tomorrow?
Yes, plans for tomorrow is an early morning race. It's a very, very early morning. It's 10 a.m.
Might be earlier
in the morning.
for qualifying.
We know some people in the group are hoping to get there by 9 a.m. for their breakfast before the race starts. The usual suspects. And then for us, the race starting at 10 a.m. We'll be at the Omanye in Labadi Beach Hotel. And this time around, we are enforcing our mask wearing rules very, very strict. We've seen some of these.
I mean, it's always been strict,
it's
right?
Always been strict,
yeah,
but
yeah.
It's going to be much more stricter. With the hotel is actually enforcing a lot of more of wearing your mask at their premises and all that. So we encourage our members to come in with your mask on and all that, and come and enjoy the race. Tomorrow, Lewis might just win the championship. If he doesn't, it's going to go into Bahrain and Abu Dhabi. But we are hoping that he can crown it up tomorrow, and then the next three becomes the race for the middle sector and the top three.
Interesting stuff. Okay, so let's see how all of it goes. Toyin, thank you so much.
So nice to be here, Nathan.
Yeah, of course.
I missed you.
Oh, miss you so much. So let's, sure.
Before we forget, our third driving is at the Ghana Trade Fair Authority car park on the 29th, which is the Bahrain Grand Prix. So we're having a blood donation exercise with the BMW club. The race actually starts around 4 in the afternoon, but we're going to be there from 10 in the morning. Food, drinks, bouncing castles. It's a whole family day out.
Yeah.
Blood donation exercise with the National Blood Bank. So it will be much more fun, interesting time out. BMW guys are coming to display. The bikers will be there. Everybody's going to be there for a whole family day out on a Sunday afternoon.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Toyin Dania. Thank you so much, Kwabna. And we're looking forward to tomorrow. All things being equal, Hamilton may just add to, the bag. Very shortly, we'll be bringing you that conversation about the Ghana Premier League and the big look ahead to it. The General Secretary of the Ghana FA, Prosper Harrison-Addo, is already seated. And of course, the CEO of Dreams FC, he's a good friend of the station. I can see his shadow around here. Good afternoon to you, Aminu Shadow. We hope all of the big talk and all of the flashy stuff we've seen on social media reflects on the pitch with results. So all but one fixture will come off tomorrow to start off this Premier League season. Of course, it starts from this evening. And boy, oh boy, aren't we all waiting to see the baby jets in action. Later on, we will be joined by the chair of the Ghana League Clubs Association, Mr. Kujo Fiano. Also, Dr. Prince Pambo, who is a member of the CAF Medical Committee, will be here. And then he will be having a conversation with us around all that should be done, what the realistic situation is, and what we should be looking out for going into this Premier League season with COVID rearing its head again. Remember to send your messages to 055 1111997. 055 1111997. It is 055 1111997. Okay, so the man seated across from me is a fine lawyer and a journalist as well. So combined experience from media, telecommunications, consultancy, and football. The very big one called football, which is a melting pot for all of these. Prosper, thank you so much for your time. It's good to have you here in the studio again.
Thank you, Nat.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too, bro.
Look, it's been a long wait. The last time we had a conversation here, we were not very sure about what was going to happen. At least there's a clear path, and finally we're going to see some football action. Of course, it's coming with a bit of a twist as well because of the recent happenings, especially with COVID-19 and the reported cases, and the cancellation of one game due to the need for more testing to be done for one of the clubs. Let's begin on the note of the passing of the former president. Under his tenure as leader of this nation, we made significant achievements in our football, including the very last time we won the Africa Cup of Nations. I don't know what you remember of him, when it comes to football in particular.
Thank you, Nat. First of all, let me send my condolences, and I do that on behalf of the Football Association, the entire ESCO, and the entire football family, to the family of our late president. My memories will start from, let's say, elementary school, and then the first time of actually meeting him was at the speech and prize giving day at Accra Academy, where he presented a prize to me.
I see. And you have a photo of that. You should keep a photo. Pictures are very, very important. These still images. Let's not be joking with them, eh?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think those days we have a guy who takes the pictures. We call him Photo.
every cameraman in secondary school is called Photo. We never knew their real names, did we? Yeah.
So that would be the beginning of the memories. But then, in terms of the sports, we all know 82. Also, when the various junior national teams also presented, I think I remember being a journalist when the cap was presented to him. We went to the castle then, and he received the team, and then the journalist, and then the cap. So I remember that as well. And he was a very enthusiastic sports lover, invested quite a lot into the sports. And so the Ghana Football Association is saddened by the event. So we got the president got a message from the world governing body, FIFA, signed by the president himself and the general
Gianni
secretary,
Infantino, exactly,
which we've shared, and so in line with the declared 7 days of mourning. If you check our website, www.ghanafa.org, yesterday we had day one. We published that letter. Today we have so we have a team of mourning. So mourning JJ Rawlings, day one. Today is day two. Today we'll publish the what CAF sent us. The CAF president Ahmad sent us a letter to our president Nanado, and then the people of Ghana on the event, and so sends his condolences. So that is the entire football family in Africa. So we'll continue. There are various FAs sending in their condolences, so we'll share that with the public as we continue with the 7 days of mourning.
Great gentleman indeed.
And to add that we've also declared that all matches played in the league today and tomorrow and then Monday will observe a minute silence. Of course, we did immediately we got the news. We sent a message to CAF, and then CAF graciously approved that we could do 1 minute silence for the Ghana-Sudan match, and then we can wear black armbands. It was approved for us, and we observe it at Cape Coast.
Well, and refreshing as well that in the sad moments and in all the in the wake of the unfortunate news, Andrea Ayew produced great leadership and got us a brace to solidify our position at the top of Group C of the qualifiers.
Yeah, so we currently lead the group with we are on 9 points. South Africa on 6, and then Sudan on 3. With Sao Tome 0. On Tuesday we play again in Sudan. The team has continued with the campaign, and then they are preparing very well. They'll go to Sudan, and we hope to get a good result from there to make our path very easy to qualification.
I see. Well, a lot has been done in the build-up to the Ghana Premier League. Like I said, we sat here and spoke about a whole range of issues, from sponsorship through to, certain administrative operations, Now, from where you sit, how would you rate what has been done, especially by the media and the build-up to this as against other seasons, the Ghanaian media?
Well, I believe in continuous improvement. I always say that. So for me, that's the key. So we've done, together with the media, done what we normally do each season, and then we've gone a bit further. You remember Joe FN collaborated with the FA to do the deadline transfer deadline day, which was hugely successful. So unlike the previous years where clubs will register and then the news doesn't come out, this time around each registration we made it available to the media. The media need information. They need content to be able to then produce good shows, which then get the patronage of supporters. So on deadline day, for me, that was a new thing, which will continue. Other media houses have already spoken to the FA that next deadline day they want to be part of it, which is good for us.
Yeah, we set the pace.
And then if you look at the clubs from the clubs' perspective as well, a lot of the clubs are doing very well. On social media, we have all the clubs. They are on Twitter, they are on Facebook, Instagram, doing quite well. And now unveiling of players is there. Every club is doing it. Some very, should I say, very expanded one, like when Attoh went to Dreams. You saw the video, and the whole concept was developed around it. They went to the beach, took some shots, and then put it all together. It was really a good one. If you look at Kotoko, all their players, they're unveiling very nice, creative wise. The graphics are coming out from the FA perspective. Now we have a studio, so we also churn out GFA News. So a lot of the information are out there.
It was interesting. I liked what I saw with the president announcing, the prize package. So that's the GFA studio, right? Yeah.
No, we did that one in partnership with StarTimes.
Sure.
Mass TV.
Yeah.
So we had some content. They also brought content from last season, put it together, and then we had that.
Sure.
Now, in terms of the jerseys. The jerseys, they are all out there, very nice. We've done an album,
and I'll tell you this: when we had the Hearts of Oak edition of the primer, the GPL primer, I remember that I brought this jersey, the Hearts of Oak centenary jersey, and people are asking for it. So, Opare Labiado, everybody else, Charles, the commercial manager. As for this one, I've given you guys free business. I'm advertising your jersey free for you people. There are so many people who want that particular, jersey. So this is good business. So yeah. And of course, dreams in their green and all of that. It's very interesting. So
so do you realize that all the clubs have moved up a bit in terms of the continuous improvement? In terms of officiating, we've done the fitness test we did one in the north, Tamale. We took care of the referees from Ashanti region up to the north, and then for the south we did it at Cape Coast, after which the referees for the Premier League we selected them, and then they went to Pram Technical Center. They did the technical training. This year the policy is that every training we do would have integrity training, piggybacking on it, so they had the integrity training, and of course the competition management systems training.
Very well.
The referees these days, we don't do paper team sheets and reporting with paper, so we do it on the system. So they did a training. All the issues and the lessons we picked from last year, we've given it to FIFA. The system we use is given to us by FIFA. So we gave them the improvements we need, and they've asked their IT side to do those improvements. They've done some are work in progress, and then a few more will be done later. So currently, you remember last year about suspension when the player gets 3 yellow cards.
Yeah.
The previous year's own, when you click on that player to select for a match, it will give you a caution. You
Very
click
well.
again, it will give you a caution, but it will allow you to go if you insist the third time. Currently, we've asked them to lock it permanently. So if a player has 3 yellow cards or a red card and is suspended for the next match, what we wanted them to do is that they shouldn't even allow you and give you the option and caution you.
Yeah.
Some people are stubborn.
Yeah. So at least this introduction now cuts away all of these issues of players who are not fit to play in a game, who are just placed in there, and then it becomes a matter of going to look for points off the pitch at the end of the season, and then it drags the start of the season and all of that.
But
this is going to be.
Not in saying that.
Yeah.
In the regulation of the EPL,
Yeah.
La Liga and Co, the same rules are there.
Yeah.
Just that the clubs have gone through this over and over.
Sure.
Though they have played this league for many years.
Sure.
And they have the resources to employ people at the very top end of their profession. So hardly do they make those mistakes. But once a while, remember one caught Real Madrid recently. So the rules are there, just that the people don't fall into that. They don't default in terms of the rules. So gradually, we've done the training for the administrators. We've done match commissioners training. We, in line with our protocols, don't forget that we had the 25% attendance permission from the president, and so based on that, we did our protocols, and then we trained. Each club appointed a safety and security officer. We had a training for them, how the protocols will work. In terms of the protocols, nobody is supposed to go to any football match in this country without wearing a mask. So you need to be in your mask. You need to take along your sanitizer as well to every now and then you rub a few and then keep yourself safe.
Unfortunately, that will not be the case because of the new directive. Yeah.
But there will still be people at the games, and so the protocol still must work. Even if you are selling water, you are selling bread or anything at the stadia across the country, you must wear a mask. Anybody who goes there, the referee, the match commissioner, they must wear a mask. So our plans were put in place. We made a huge build up to the start of the season. 3 o'clock, we're going to start 3 o'clock today at Doma. Unfortunately, that match had to be postponed, and so that has been called off. And then we'll start at Accra Sports Stadium this evening in the game between Legon Cities and Chelsea.
Well, let's see if the Baby Jet is able to produce any magic, and will the defenders of Chelsea be able to, halt him in his tracks? Well, there's a man in here in the studio. He actually looks like a bodybuilder or a heavyweight boxer, and he has some similarities with Anthony Joshua, the unified heavyweight world champion. I know everybody agrees with me. Dr. Prince Pambo is a member of the CAF Medical Committee. He's joined us here for the conversations, and he's in blue and white as well. Are you in any way affiliated to Accra Great Olympics? Yeah, I see some NBA stuff, but you see blue and white in our relevance is Accra Great Olympics. Doc.
I think I have an association with them.
With them, okay.
Yes.
Tell me about it.
No, I did their medicals for them.
Oh, I see. I see.
So,
yeah.
He's a little boy, right? He's a good friend.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, good to have you here in the studio, Doc. I began with former President Rawlings and his, the sudden demise, and we've been reflecting on his impact in sports.
Yeah.
What would be your best memories?
I wouldn't want to pretend I knew so much about his involvement in sports. I mean, I knew much about him as a president, and major part of my interest was the fact that a colleague in medical school at the time, Nathaniel Attoh, so the interest was around the family,
wow.
I mean, rather than the man himself. And yeah, I mean, nice stories at some point, and working in Parliament, I got quite close to Nathaniel now, so I would want to use your medium to say, hey, this got to happen. I mean, at some point in anybody's life, and for me, it's I use the word somewhere. It's an embarrassment sometimes when you hear people die like this. I mean, especially when you're a doctor. So the question you ask yourself is, if you could have done much to save the life, but there are times, hey, you can't really question God. I mean, you probably think you've done a lot, and I'm sure our colleagues did everything they could, and the man was a warrior, and I think he died a warrior. I mean we didn't hear of any sickness. I wish my dad goes that way. I mean, instead of spending so much money on hospital bills. So, I mean, that's but he was a great leader. I mean, Ghana is Ghana because of what he chose to do at some point. I mean, nobody brought a gun on him to switch us to civilian rule. I mean, he did it. And when it was time for him to leave, he left. And he held the nation tight. And we are grateful. God gave him to us as a gift.
Thank you. Doc, we're starting on the note of a lot of caution for the Ghana Premier League season. There was a lot in terms of expectation. When you look at some of our videos on our digital platforms at Joy Sports, you realize that the fans have been eagerly awaiting these big moments, especially this weekend, which heralds the start. However, COVID-19 is rearing its head gradually again into the system. How worried should we be as a football family? That's what I want to know.
Thank you, Nat. I think I would want to do a lot more for the nation itself. I mean, I've been following the discussions, and everybody seems to be concentrating on, the league. I think we need to look at a bigger picture. The soccer teams don't exist in isolation. So if we are having reason to be worried about what's happening among 30 players, 20 players, then what is happening in society or in the nation as a whole? And for me, I don't think I'll leave your studio without helping the nation get to that point. The past probably 3 weeks, I've seen over 1,000 COVID results pass through my hands. Okay?
Over 1,000?
Over 1,000 COVID results pass through my hands the past 3 weeks.
Wow.
And there's something we call the positivity rate. So out of every 100 people you test, you are having an average of 10 to 12 people testing positive. So that tells you we have a positivity rate of not less than 10. And that is huge. I mean, when COVID was flying in May, we're not doing that. So simply, we are hearing of numbers in clubs because clubs are testing. If you go to Tanzania, when they were about to play their qualifier, they wrote to CAF that they want to play with fans because their president has declared they don't have COVID. Because if you go, they don't have data for it. So we are testing and we are seeing. So for a country like Ghana, we need to be super worried. And you see, I gave you the statistics that the cases that passed through my hands, these were not sick people. These were not individuals who were even referred by a doctor.
I see.
These are individuals who either want to travel, who just feel like they want to test, that kind of thing, or workplace just wants you to test before, and these are the cases. So how much more those who are demonstrating and showing signs and symptoms? So I would want to plead with the nation and our leadership that whatever we did at the beginning of the pandemic, which earned us that global praise, we need to double that now. I mean, we all saw the poster of the president when he was addressing the nation the last time on Sunday. I mean, we saw his poster. He wasn't a happy man. Sure. Because he knows what he knows. You know, so it has to go to every individual. So back to the worry we need to have. What we need to be prepared for as a football family is that, I mean, we are starting with cancelling or postponing a game. And it's going to be the norm. I mean, once we are going to start and we are all bent on starting and doing it, we should build into the fixtures that if we thought we were going to play it within 3 months, 2 months, you probably should add 1 more month, because cases are going to come. And I mean, this is not prophecy. It's a science. If you finish playing any game and you test players, you will pick positives. It's as simple as that. So we need to tell ourselves what is the success we're looking for. The success really should not be that there will not be any COVID case. So once we have that mentality that we are aiming at not having any positive COVID case, and you begin to see 1 or 2 cases, then you're going to throw yourself into disarray. And you're going to push clubs not to even let us see the real picture. And when I started hearing the rumor XYZ, I said every team that somebody sent me something, I don't know how true it is, I'll probably find out from Shadow, okay? Every team that I saw had positive cases. Then I said, look, I respect those teams a lot. What it means is that they did a test. I'm not too sure if every team have done the test and they've received their results. But if teams are reporting 0-0-0, I mean, we need to see what it is. Okay. I feel the government can do a lot more to help the clubs. Prosper mentioned protocols. I'm sure the protocols were put together by experts from the football side and experts from the Ghana Health Service side. And I expect the Ghana Health Service side of things to have the monitoring ability. Okay? So we're going to be seeing a match between who is playing tonight? Legon City
and Brecum Chelsea.
And Brecum Chelsea.
At the Accra Stadium.
Simple rule. The match commissioner should have results of both teams at a pre-match meeting. Okay? To satisfy himself that he is going to commission a match which obeys all the laid down protocols. So we mentioned the hand washing, the sanitizers, the wearing of masks and all of that. The actors of the game are going to be on the pitch without mask and all of that. So the concentration is really going to be there. So, and I know government has come in to help with the testing. So we are using the various government facilities to do the testing. Now, if we are looking at being able to create a very good biosafety environment, then it doesn't also help when the government facilities come to pick the samples, go to do the testing, and only bring results after 48 hours, 72 hours. What it means is that, because if you want to really create a good environment, you come in the morning and pick the samples from the teams, everybody goes back to their rooms, okay? And they can only come out and train after you have brought the results. If you took samples, okay, this morning and brought in results after 72 hours, which is the earliest we are hearing, okay, the team had gone into training probably 3 times, all right, no mask, and they bring that result and tell me, oh, 3 of them are positive. Scientifically, what you need to do is to go back and do contact trace, because those 3 people who tested positive were with the other players. And I can bet you, if you go back to do the contact trace from the 3 people, you get a minimum 15 people who are also positive. Okay, so this whole dynamics of, I know there are clubs who are ready to play tonight and are still waiting for their results of COVID, and they have trained. Okay, so it makes it a bit tricky. Now, I give a typical example of what really works, which might be very expensive for us, and we need to think through. NFL decided to do something. I mean, they were not very successful. I think in this pandemic, the group that has been very successful was the bubble, the NBA in the bubble.
Okay.
All right, Orlando. And what they did was, before they brought anyone to Disney, where they had everybody, you were supposed to quarantine in your house for 7 days and doing daily testing. And after you produce 7 negative tests, then you fly into the bubble and you quarantine in the bubble for another 7 days with continuous testing. Then those are the people who are allowed to be in the bubble after they've accumulated a total of 14 negative tests. Then you can go about without your mask and do whatever you have to do, but then they still have daily testing. And that is what really works. So I feel government just saying, oh, go ahead and play the league. For me, I don't think it's enough from the point of government, and I really will be happy if the Minister of Sports and Health is listening, that government needs to come out clear. I know government has the capacity to be able to pick samples this morning and produce results before 3 p.m. PCR machines are there. Noguchi can give such results within those timelines. So they need to treat the samples coming from the clubs as urgent, and then they handle them. KCCR, handling the Kumasi side of things and Brown Hartford side of things, can equally do so that we don't kind of pretend that, okay, yes, football wanted to resume, we have allowed them to resume, but what is the support? Because if we are asking them to pay for, they can't. The minimum a COVID test will cost you in this country will be 300 cedis, all right, for one test. And if you had 30 players, if you add your officials and all that, I mean, how much do you get? You are talking about 9,000 cedis for every round of testing. And to help government succeed, if you want players to test before and after every game, so you're going to spend 18,000 cedis to do that. So I feel government should not look at it that it's a football thing. It's a national thing. Because the positive cases the footballers, excuse me to say, won't die from COVID, to be honest. And that's why probably people are a bit reluctant. But they'll go home, there's a granny somewhere, there's a grandpa somewhere, there's somebody who has a weakness somewhere, and then it goes into the community. So for me, that is where the headache really is. But the nation Ghana needs to wake up that the second wave of COVID is here. We can't pretend about it. We are having low numbers. We are not seeing the numbers because we are not aggressively testing like we were doing in March, April, May. So we're playing down the figures. But I've just said it here, the positivity rate is 10% plus. So we just have to wake up as a nation. And there's something called the viral calendar, okay? Coronavirus has its own calendar. And between now and June 2021, if you want to successfully plan any mass gathering or togetherness, you need to understand what the calendar looks like. So you factor in some of the human behavioral changes, and then of course the emergence of a vaccine, which we don't understand, all right? How long the vaccine is going to give you immunity, whether we are part of the people who will be receiving the vaccine. If America is playing in the numbers 200,000 a day, obviously the concentration will be there versus us. So we need to understand these dynamics as far as corona is concerned.
Dr. Prince Pambo, the member of the CAF Medical Committee, bringing us up to speed on what the realistic situation is like. Now, according to him, it is beyond just a football thing. It is a national thing, and we all have to be interested, and we all have to be, concerned about, making sure that we adhere to these safety protocols. Prosper, interesting, stuff there from a very technical perspective from Dr. Pambo. Let me ask this. I mean, we were all eagerly hoping that this season would go smooth, especially with all of these measures that have been put in place. We were just talking about, refereeing and how, there's a more advanced, technologically, there's a more advanced way of dealing with, red cards and yellow cards and recording them in a system. Now, there could be a halt of the season depending on how things go, isn't it?
Yes, I think that it's a community thing. It's not a football thing. COVID is not a football thing. I see people write on the football situation as if it's far away, and then they are also at a different side. Whatever is happening in the football Premier League world and the Division 1 League world in terms of the testing, it's the same thing happening in society. So we are not doing anything different from what is taking place in society. If a test is done, we are entirely in the hands of the medical apparatus set up by government. So they take samples, they test, and then they come back to the clubs, and then they isolate any positive results, any person with the positive results from the team, and then the person is taken through the very COVID protocol set up for any person in this country. So that is what is being done. So we've done tests for Premier League, because Premier League is starting this weekend. Division 1 League will start some 3 weeks down the line. So some of them have already done their test in terms of even Division 1. But for Premier League, all the clubs have done their test. What we did is to give the medical team the location of the teams and the contact person, and so they've been in contact, and all kinds of advice and all kinds of medical issues have been the clubs have been taken through, and so I agree with what Dr. Pambo is saying, that if there's a need to take this thing as urgently as possible, so that the results will come in very, very fast, it would be good. But currently, today, with all the teams have tested, they have go ahead, like this evening, they have go ahead to play, and so everything is fine to play.
Now, has the FA positioned itself and made provision for the disruptions that these potential cancellations are going to make? Because Dr. Pambo made a very important point about the possibility of extending the time. Playing this league within a specific time frame also becomes very important within the international football mix as well.
Yes, currently we have a lot of matches being played on Sunday. So if there is a need to reschedule, it's all factored in, and there are 3 days in it to take care of the rescheduling of matches. So calendar-wise, we are fine, and the ESCO also always have a default residual powers to extend or abridge or do anything to the calendar. So we don't have a problem with the calendar. Currently, only one match has been called off. We'll fix it when we get further updates from the medical side. So we working we have platforms, and we are in touch with them all the time. So yesterday we were told that a further test needs to be done, and so we should postpone immediately. We made the right contacts, and then we did that. When they come back to us, there are we have space in their calendar to fix that match. But for the rest of the matches, we have the green light to go ahead. So we'll do so.
Well, in terms of building up to the Ghana Premier League, I mentioned to you that there is a lot in terms of content on all of our digital platforms and our traditional platforms as well. And so you can catch the repeat or a replay of the omnibus edition of the GPL Joy Sports Primer. And that was a general one that was looking ahead generally to the new Ghana Premier League season. Here with me in studio are the General Secretary of the Ghana FA, Prosper Harrison Attoh. Dr. Prince Pambo is a member of the CAF Medical Committee, bringing us up to speed on the trends and what we possibly could expect and also hammering on the fact that COVID is back and is going to going to be even more disruptive. So we have to brace ourselves for all of it. Let's now take a listen to the CEO of Kumasi Asante Kotoko. Now, the Kotoko, executive body paid a visit to the president yesterday to, present to him, a general plan for the season and also the new approved jerseys, for the season, the home and away strips for the season. Let's now take a listen to Nanaya Amponsa at the presidency.
We are very much aware of your support for sports in general in Ghana and also football in particular. We know you are an ardent follower of football, a Tottenham fan, and also a fan of Asante Kotoko. Asante Kotoko this year happens to be our 85th anniversary. 85 years in the life of every or any creature marks an end to an era. Asante Kotoko in its 85 years has achieved everything that it was created to achieve. 2 times African champions, record league holders in Ghana, and with the inception of this new board and management, we are starting a new life for Asante Kotoko. Football is big business. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. It used to be recreational, but these days, prices of footballers, generation of income through media rights, transfer fees, is such that we cannot underestimate the impact of football in our economy. I say that the food basket of many villages in this country cannot come to up to even $100,000 a month. But some kids come out of the same villages and end up earning $100,000 a month through football. They come back to invest these amounts in the same country, in the same villages. We know what you have done in this country in the past 4 years. 1 village, 1 dam. 1 district, 1 factory. And as you seek for more to do more, it is our hope that you add 1 village, 1 football star, or 1 constituency, 1 football star. If we look at what players like Asamoah Gyan, Tony Yeboah, Abedi Pele, the amount of investment they have done in this country, creating factories, hotels, employing people, it means that if we invest more in these young boys, they will come back and build the factories that we seek to build in constructing these villages and districts. So it is our wish that we will put more effort into sports and in particular football. Mr. President, recently we went to the African Cup of Nations and your administration did very well by voting $6 million to support the Black Stars. Unfortunately, we did not get to the destination that we envisaged. Asante Kotoko's selection to represent Ghana at the African Cup Championships is similar to that of the Black Stars playing at the AFCON. We are going to carry the flag of Ghana high. Until recently, about 10 years ago, Ghana had 4 slots in African club competitions. Due to non-participation of clubs owing to lack of funds and poor performances, Ghana has lost these slots to 2. It is our fervent wish that within your next 4 years, God willing, we will be able to bring back the 2 lost slots. If there is any club in this country to lead that charge, to win back the slots for Ghana, then it is Asante Kotoko. However, we cannot do it without financial support, considering the COVID situation, lack of funds to the stadium, lack of transfers. It is our plea that if you can help us with 10% of what was voted for the Black Stars in the last AFCON, we can go far and help Ghana restore the 2 slots that we lost. And so we are here to plead with yourself, your good self, and your administration to help Asante Kotoko get to its next destination. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Okay, so that was the president, the CEO of Kumasi Asante Kotoko, Nathaniel Amponsa, addressing the president there. Let's take a listen to the president as well. He was presented with, replica jerseys, the home and away kits of Kumasi Asante Kotoko.
Board of directors, the management, you're all very welcome to the seat of the presidency of our country, to Jubilee House. As I say, it's a very happy day for me. We've had some bad news in the country, as you know, in the last day or two. But this is a happy day for me. I'm happy that today, as president, I have the opportunity to meet the leadership of Asante Kotoko. I've been following this side since I was 5 years old. I remember some of the players, many of you may never even have heard of them at the time, but we grew up with them in Ghana. We grew up with Asebi Boachi and the Poku Mensah. Of course, Dago, Dodemoro, Salifu, Kwabafo. These were the names when we were young people, the idols of football that we followed. And they made Ghana football initially Gold Coast football, when it became Ghana football, and then laid the foundation for Ohinijan's Black Stars, Babayara, and the others. So Kotoko has a very special, cherished, enviable role in Ghanaian sports and development. So if today now the decision has been made to find a way of really reviving it and bringing back the old glories, I'm 100% in support of that. I'm a bit surprised that the people from the Ministry of Sports are not here with you. Were they informed about this visit? Are you aware?
You informed them? Yes.
You informed them?
Yeah, I spoke to the minister.
And he didn't think it was necessary to be here? Well, we need because we are from this discussion, we need to sit down with them and see what it is that is feasible. And then also, from yourselves, you have some very important business people on the board of this, apart from your spokesperson and the chairman. There are some very powerful business elements amongst you. So we should be also hearing from you what plans you have also to develop the financial base of the club. I think that the participation in the CAF competition, clearly, to the extent that's possible, government should find some way of assisting the club to be able to do so. But that can obviously can only be temporary measures over a period of time, a year or two or something. Ultimately, the club itself, like football clubs all over the world, will have to find some mechanism for generating money and for keeping the club going. In our circumstances here, the state can be of some assistance, no two ways about it. I don't know how FIFA rules accommodate that, but definitely we can find some way of assisting. So I said I'm surprised that the Minister for Sports and officials of the ministry were not here. It would have made an easier discussion. But it's a discussion I intend to pursue. I'll definitely speak to the Minister, and we will put our heads together to see what can be done to assist. I think it's in the interest of Ghana that we should have a strong participation. And I don't think that there's a club better fitted to fly the flag of Ghana than Asante Kotoko. It's been the most successful football club in our history. And I'm really happy to see the caliber of people who have been assembled and who are around this table to begin the revival of Kotoko. I think that Tumfo, as usual, has proved to be very astute in the choice of people that he has made, and it's something that we should support him and support you to make a success of it. So thank you very much for coming. The discussions will not end here today. You will hear from me either directly or through the sports ministry, and we'll sit down and try and work out some mechanism for being able to help the club and begin again the new journey of Asante Kotoko. It's very important. I'm excited by the idea. It's difficult to see how Ghanaian football can succeed unless Kotoko succeeds. That has been the story from the beginning, and I'm sure that will be the story of the future as well. So you're welcome.
President Akufo-Addo there, making the commitment to help clubs who qualify to participate in continental competitions. Refreshing news, isn't it? And I'll begin with you, Dr. Pambo. I mean, I always refer to individuals from here in Ghana and professionals from here who have the opportunity to serve on these, bodies, okay? The kinds of conversations that go on amongst you sometimes. I mean, for instance, that maybe on the medical committee we have representation of more than one or two. It becomes a symbol of pride. In the same way, the president is waded into the discussion about our presence in Africa and how we need to get back there, backing the words of the CEO of Kotoko. Tell me about the experience of serving on CAF and also knowing that, okay, we either lost our slots or we gained our slots or we're doing better based on which we're getting pride, at a certain level.
Yeah, I mean, I think having your nationals represented on committees or having clubs at some level in continental competitions comes with a lot of pride and confidence. I give one example. During AFCON 2019 in Egypt, when Ghana had to come and play at the Suez venue, and I was the venue medical officer. I mean, so at a pre-match meeting, I was a CAF doctor to address and to talk. So that alone gives the team some confidence to even start with.
Yeah.
I mean, at their training ground, I could go there and let them know that, look, you will be expected to provide XYZ. So I engage my colleague, Dr. Adumaku, and say, did you come with this document XYZ? If you don't have it, just get it, because we'll be asking for it. So those are the things that play in. If you are sent as a medical officer for CAF Champions League games, for instance, and a team from Ghana is there, I mean, when the players are seated and this player from Kotoko, recently, 2 weeks ago, I was in Cairo to supervise the match between Ali and Wak. Okay, the Ali new coach, the South African Piso
Musimani.
Then, so I walked to him, introduced myself. Oh yeah, because I just admire him. And the first thing he mentioned, oh, you are Ghanaian. I was chasing one of your players.
Wow.
Okay, not a player of today or yesterday, Mahatma Attoh.
I see.
And that alone, I mean, we had a conversation around Mahatma Attoh for like 2 minutes, with all the Ali players in their dressing room, and the man couldn't stop singing praises. Okay, now when they want to talk about the strength of football in Ghana, they mention years that unfortunately myself and Prosper were not born.
I see.
Okay, it goes way back. So we've lost that bragging right. I mean, for some time. I think the national team brought us forward a bit. Okay, so yeah, the president, I'm sure, wants his pride back, I mean, among his colleagues as well. I mean, they do have such conversations, So yes, I'm sure once we begin to do things right, and it all boils down to support. And Prosper made a comment, I made the same comment. We tend to, we've gotten to a point with the football people. We are Ghanaians. Football is a Ghana thing, okay? So, I mean, I'm sure the president will back his words and demand with the needed support, football needs from the national point of things, through the Sports Authority, through the Ministry of Youth and Sport, and that would help the clubs. I mean, if government decides that, look, I'm going to make sure we have grade A pitches for people to train well, I'm going to make sure that we have good medical facilities, so sponsor a lot more doctors to go and do sports medicine like some of us did, then you can be sure that when the players have their injuries, they'll have timely care and all that. All that will play into having clubs represent us in Africa, and we'll have our pride back. So there's nothing sweeter than meeting your countrymen wherever you find yourself. I walk through the corridors of, cup sometimes with my shoulders like this. God, Tony is there. You can take that. Yeah. Recently, I engaged with the NBA, okay, and I had my pride there because I happened to realize that there's one guy who is the vice president also and so for Basketball Africa League, Manuel Plant. He's Ghanaian, so that alone gives you some pride, confidence, and you are able to express yourself better. So, as individuals, we'll do our best. Clubs will do their best. Once the nation pushes us, the president has the power to also lobby sometimes, for nationals and for clubs, and things like this work. We just have to activate all the available options, and then we keep going.
Talk about clubs. One of the biggest blocks in terms of strength and presence within our football setup, the Ghana League Clubs Association, have their representation here in their chair, a journalist and also a football person through and through. Mr. Kujo Fiano, always good to have you. Thank you very much for making it here today. Despite the tough... I know.
I didn't know I was coming to make this. I will have applied the vanishing cream.
Yeah, good. But we're grateful that you are able to make the time, even though the weekend is very demanding. Mr. Fiano, we're talking about the clubs, and the president just, we just played a voice note of the president, a voice clip of the president, talking about making the commitment to support clubs that are going to Africa, and that obviously must come as great news to Galka.
Thank you very much, Nat. It's something we've been chasing for some time now.
Sure.
And it's been back and forth. We've tried it. The money was not coming the way it was promised.
Sure.
It was coming in bits, and where we were even getting some push, it was coming bits and pieces. But for the first gentleman to say it himself, it means that we're getting there. And it's all about money. Football is all about money. It's a bottomless pit. So when you enter into that venture and you don't get a necessary push, definitely you need money to buy good players to compete. You need money to motivate the players. If you are traveling, especially Doctor and General Secretary Ubebe, you are going even to Central Africa. What you've got to go through before getting there, you hop, step, and jump. Pick a flight. I remember making a call to going to Douala, just
Cameroon. Yeah.
We flew from Accra to Abidjan, spent 4 hours in Abidjan, hopped over Ghana to Togo, spent another 3 hours there. Eventually got to Douala in the night.
Wow.
Okay. So if you have this push from government, you can even charter a flight, send your players a day to the match. I remember very well when I was in Glasgow, we were traveling to Niger. It was in the Morale booster when the Air Force plane came all the way to Kumasi to pick us from Kumasi straight to Niger. When the Nigerian team saw us that this team, they came in a chartered flight, even though it was an Air Force plane.
Yeah.
Hey, this club must be a very rich club.
Yeah.
So we even dampened their spirit when they were playing them home. So when these things are given to the clubs, these are the pushes that we need. When we get them, definitely we deliver. Now we can go to the market and even fight for a player that is costing $150,000 on the open market. Buy them, bring them here. So it's so refreshing that we're getting this from the president. But there's this caveat, and I don't know whether it's going to apply to this dispensation coming from His Excellency the President. In the past, they will tell you to get to the group stage. But that is where the key point is, how do you make it to the
group stage?
The group
exactly.
Stage. So if it is coming from the beginning, as they move into the competition, I'm sure it will help. So it's good news for us, and we'll say kudos to His Excellency the President. Now that he's spoken, we will have to toe that line. But I will also want my members accountability, openness, because the ministry at a point in time put up a fund that clubs who are playing Africa should assess. People assess the money, went to Africa, then accountability became a problem. So I think now that the president is saying this, it is a challenge to us that we don't throw the Ghanaian money away. We should go and make good use of that money. So I think good news for Ash Gold and Kumasi Asante Kotoko.
Great stuff there. Now, generally, ahead of the start of the season, what are the major conversations that have gone on, within Galka, especially because we're finding ourselves in a rather interesting time where things have to be done differently and all of that?
It's been very challenging. And my brothers here, the General Secretary of the GFA will bear me out. It's not been easy. As Riley said, we are not in the best of times. And Ghana's challenge is so peculiar. It's different from the rest. Because we had our version of COVID-18 vis-a-vis ANAS. Just as we were coming back, I don't envy them, the General Secretary of the FA, the President of the FA. I don't envy them at all. They're coming at a very challenging time. Here you are, we are kicking off this afternoon, if all things be equal. And we cannot boast of sponsorship. But Ghanaians are starving of Ghanaian football. Some of us are sick and tired of sitting behind the screens and watching other people playing. Football brewed in the Ghanaian pot. That's what we also want. But the challenge is that corporate Ghana is also really under COVID-19. So you wake up in the morning, you go round the whole of the country, trying to get somebody to put in something, but it's not coming. But we are still making the effort. And I think that when we kick off, and the corporate Ghanaian sees that the clubs are also sacrificing, we'll go back to the old man. Now that we are kicking off, definitely we'll go back like Oliver Twist. One more. So the media, you need to come on board and help us.
We are already on board.
Yes, then like Oliver Twist, put in more so that people will. Yeah. The GPL must be on the lips of everybody. Let's sell it. Let's sell the product. I engaged in a walk last week, and the catchword was, let's promote our own, or let's be proud of our own. If we have that heart, definitely we will take the Ghana GPL to a different level. But as we get this opportunity, why not to call on corporate Ghana? But I'm sure the efforts being put in by the FA should definitely yield results. Let's
talk about this one relating to COVID. One game cancelled. Realistically, how compliant have your members been, with these directives and all of that on a general scale? I mean, there was a major meeting during the week. How much of compliance are these clubs putting in?
I will say that we've gone past the pass mark. It's just that this upsurge of COVID vis-a-vis some of the clubs. Doc is here. I think a lot of effort have been put into it. The GFA and all the stakeholders did what we could to get the task force, the national task force, to get all these things done. But this novel thing, and coming from a third world, definitely will be facing challenges. I will say that yes, the clubs have done very well. At the time, I don't want to be repeating myself with this lack of sponsorship, where there is no sponsorship, but the edge, at least to play in these difficult times, is something worth mentioning. We have done the best. It's just that one or two areas, the Accra Asofok, this for instance, is a bit alarming. And I will check the General Secretary of the FA, and then Dr. Pombo, who is a member of the medical team, to help us find a way out. It's a bit alarming, but irrespective of that, we have to play. We have to kick off, because I'm not saying this because I don't care about the lives or the safety of Ghanaians. To a larger extent, when we're talking about safety, what will have happened to our players if we are not playing? I think that will have been worse. So let's try and get rid of the rough edges that we find, the reported cases of COVID. And I'm sure with Dr. Pambo and Co around, they should help us out of this question.
Well, talk about the reported cases of COVID. There was something I was coming to, and this is very specific. In the case of Accra Hartsville, and I'm asking this of the General Secretary. Yes. So there's this one that's coming from Doha in Qatar. The message says, Nat, please check from the General Secretary if 31 players of Accra Hartsville tested positive for COVID-19. This is the news I heard on a radio station or Europa Radio this morning. Okay.
Well, the Accra Hartsville situation, in calling of the match, we said that they require further test.
Okay.
The situation is that, so it's not like they've not done tests at all. They did a test, which they in fact reported that they've had three members of their playing body and the technical team getting the test. So those were isolated, and then they were taken through the medical protocols. I think along the line, the club itself decided to do some private tests. That's where the confusion started. So in doing the private test, the GFA did not know the date it was done, whether it was done before the national COVID team won or after. And then, so he ended up so they have a dashboard where they collect all the results. So at a point, they ended up there that the numbers were not 3, but a different number. So of course there will be confusion, because when the COVID team did it, they know the date they did it. That was 28th of October. It was only 3. So now, as a good medical team, what needed to be done was to investigate, to make sure that we clear all doubts before they play. So in order to ensure that we've cleared everything, the match has to be postponed, and then we'll ensure that we do another test and ensure that everything is fine. If it was the 3 people, as for them, they've been isolated, and then they've gone through the treatment procedure and everything. The other one that they did, and whatever they were doing with it, was a club-based one, and so the national COVID team must have a handle on it and make sure that they get the time it was done, and then what medical precautions have been taken and everything. And so that is what caused the postponement, so that we are sure, and then we've cleared everybody. So all the other clubs, the COVID team gives the clearance before you can go and play. So that is what caused the thing. Currently, all the other clubs are fine. But what I need to put out there, and for the media to understand, if somebody gets tested and it comes out positive, it is not a death sentence, please. It is not. I'm pleading, it is not. We must stop this stigmatization. If somebody gets positive, so a club gets tested, it's the same as people in society being tested. And then when the results come, the medical team comes around. If there's one person or 2 people are tested, they take them through the procedure. If they need to go to the hospital, or the isolation center, or the place prepared for them, they go and they come out. So some of and what I hated most was the fact that some of the media too are joining all kinds of statistics together and sharing. Look, if a club, we started doing these tests in October, so you may see a club with maybe 1 positive test. The person had been isolated, gone through the procedure, has been declared, maybe done a second test, has been declared negative, and has joined the team. And that is what we do in society. When you get a test, you go through the procedure, you get another test, you are negative, you come back to society. So let's not go out there and behave as if people have positive tests, so they are dying, and why are we going to play? No. Some of the numbers are there. Some are false, first of all, and others too were done in October. People have gone through the process, and they are back. So the important thing is that when it comes to the tests, the results, and the clearance to go and play, we are in the hands of the national COVID team. A very good body as such. So they will give us the clearance before a match we play. Going forward, if we don't get the clearance, we have a procedure. We can postpone the match, and when we do, please, it is part of the situation we are, the current situation. In England, they started the league, the EPL, without, I think, 3 matches or so. Manchester did not play. Man City did not play. And I think one other club. 3 matches were not played. I didn't see Ghanaians generally shouting. We understood them, and then we went along with them. So we are only pleading that when we postpone a match, or a match doesn't get to be played, please, journalists, understand our protocols, and then let's go together and build our league.
Doc, how much detail is available regarding our players and their medical history? Because one of the things we've all learned about COVID is that when you have some pre-existing medical conditions, there's a very high likelihood that it could kill you. So how much in terms of medical data is available on the players who play in the Ghana Premier League?
Right, thank you so much. So when you ask of the availability of medical data, availability to who? Obviously not availability to the media, which is where you belong. Okay, so what I have witnessed on the media terrain is once the Ghana media does not have some information, it's treated as not being transparent.
Okay, but it's there. The information is there.
Right. Now, if you talk about Hearts of Oak, for instance, coincidentally, I happen to be the one who did their medicals for them before the league even started. So when I heard rumors, I mean, I didn't do COVID. When I heard rumors of COVID there, I was very comfortable because I could tell of the 33 or so players that I had done medical screening for, I mean, ECGs and all that. They were all on point. Okay, so obviously these players did not have underlying conditions that could put them at risk. And the point is, generally for sportsmen and women, we are normally not worried about what it will do to them, to be honest. We are normally worried where they will take it to. I think that is the point. So basically, there's always something we call the medical history questionnaire, all right, which we would have to adopt into the system. So the question I was going to ask, or what I was going to suggest, is that we just need to have very clear protocols for this league. And the protocols don't have to be static, all right? So we had protocols to start. Then you start and realize that there's a hitch, all right? So you just need to keep tweaking the protocols. And there should be a tight task force between the league board, that we used to call it the Premier League board. Is it still PLB? Yeah. Okay, the PLB and the government COVID task force. All right, we would be able to solve this problem if government steps up and decides that, look, when we take the samples of each team within 24 hours, let's give them results. And like Prosper said, there's something called dashboard. Once you test and the results are entered into the system, if you lived in Cantonment or Roman Rate, which is Ayawas or something, and you test positive, it will flash on their dashboard, and the district director or municipal director will pick it up and call you that, okay, so you live in our neighborhood, you've been tested positive, X, Y, Z, and they do the follow-up and do the isolations. Now we don't even rush people to isolation centers, all right? So if it's in a club that is already camping somewhere, they just come, so XYZ players have tested positive. So we keep them in their hotel rooms or wherever they are, do in-room feeding and all that.
Doc,
so
you have raised an important point. Sorry to cut in, but I'll come back to your point again, and then, Mr. Fianu, how much in terms of cushioning do our clubs have to, for instance, do extended camping for these players just so they could be, they could be keeping safe? Because obviously releasing them to join their families and all is also one very key thing.
That is one of the challenges, the major challenges we are facing, this camping business.
Okay.
And the account will tell you, I share the scanner here.
Yeah.
Okay. I know of some clubs, immediately they did the COVID test, and those who were positive were kept in hotels. And they are moving from those hotels to play and return. But I'm talking about 1 or 2 clubs.
Okay.
But to get all the 18 clubs lodged in hotel, that is where the challenge is. And as I said, we need to be checking to make sure that we get a homegrown process that must be followed. Because if you ask,
so the clubs cannot, they don't have that muscle to do that.
Muscle. We have the muscle. We have the muscle. For instance, Olympics traveling to Takwa, naturally they will be kept in a hotel overnight. But they come back from Takwa, and the players are released to go back home and come back on the eve of the next game to prepare. So I think we need to sit down with the custodians of the FA and make sure that these protocols are crafted to suit our circumstances. Otherwise, because I will be in a hotel, I have the means, I have the muscle to be in a hotel. My opponent is not having that muscle to be in a hotel. And we will all be kept on one pitch for 90 plus minutes. So these are the challenges we are facing, and we need to find, as I said, homegrown solutions to some of these challenges.
So Nat, you remember we started this journey from the national team side. So this is what we did at the national level. The players are tested. The results comes in very fast. So they go to the camp, they are tested, they go to their rooms. When the results come, those who have issues will be isolated and then provided the medical care and everything for them to recover, get a negative test results before they join their colleagues. So all those with negative then they will start training. And then when they are playing a friendly match, they only play friendly match with teams who have negative COVID test results. So you realize that some teams even complain to some of the media people that they are not getting the chance to play the national under-17 team and then national under-20 team. Because we insisted that they only have to play teams with COVID results and they must be negative. Okay. So the same process was extended to the clubs. So we said, clubs, once you do your COVID test, and then so we get them in link with the COVID team. Once they call, they find the location, they come, they test you. You would wait and get the results. And then when you get the results, you continue your training and then ensure that you play friendly matches with only teams that also have a negative COVID results. This is the model it is we set up. Now, so we expect all the clubs to follow this. There is always a temptation that I want to play friendly match with you and all that, but you have to be firm. So those who came, the application that came into our attention, some of the teams wanted to play some of the pre-season friendlies between Division 1 clubs and then Premier League clubs. Some of them, once we asked you and you said you've not tested, then you are out. That match is not coming on. But let me put it out there that some of the Division 1 clubs have done COVID tests already. They have done, some have done it on their own, paid for. Some too have been in contact with the COVID team because we said after the Premier League we'll do the Division 1. Some of the Division 1, like Sokwa Deportivo, Wasserman, they've done their national COVID 1 already, and the results are in. Both of them all negative. And so once you get that, now you pick a document. Steps are in there to support you to ensure that you don't get anybody going to positive. We are lucky we are in pre-season, so most of the teams are camping. You remember Kotoko went to Kofredua and they camped. They did their COVID test there. All the people negative. Since then, they've taken steps to protect the squad, moving from hotel from Kofredua to Kumasi, and all the players, the mask is on, the washing of hands, and all those things are being done. Just that a few of the clubs, then the temptation to go and play friendly matches with teams that are not
fully cleared.
Yes. The general warning is that once you get your results, play with only people who also have their negative results. That is the setup we have. And so we would continue to urge the clubs to follow these protocols very carefully, because the more you are compliant with the protocols, the better your chances are remaining negative. Because any player that gets positive will not get to play, and you lose the services of the player for the match. And so all the teams are abiding by this. And so, like I said, clearance comes from the national COVID team when we get it before you play.
Okay. All right. We've got loads of games to follow this weekend, and of course, would be looking ahead to them. The president of Galka is here, and I would like to just quickly pick his thoughts on the opening weekend and which games will be his pick. Remember, Mr. Kudus Fiano's appearance on this show is also because he is a master and well versed when it comes to winning the league. He's won the league before. So if you want lessons on or a master class on how to win the Ghana Premier League, he surely is your best bet. Mr. Fiano, as we build up to wrapping it up, what will be your picks? I mean, when you look at all the fixtures, which of the games will be very much sought after in your opinion, and what will be the reasons why?
Games involving our two big guys, matches that we'll pick weekly. I would have loved to see
the Adriana Hearts game.
Unfortunately, a force majeure has made it possible for us to have that game. I'm not being biased, but I want to see how Legon City will take off. Having attracted all the publicity off season, I want to see how they will be starting. So I'll be glued to my TV to see how they will be taking on Bechim. That should be my pick. Then in Takwa, Midiama beat Accra Great Olympics on the field of play, but Olympics got the points, and the signals we are receiving from Takwa is that our CEO has been declared a persona non grata in Takwa. So I would want the hostilities to be limited
to the football pitch.
And leave those things for to be handled later. But my attention for this week will be to see Lagos City's taking off. Now, getting through into the league, not that I'm seeing shadow here. Dream surprised me when they played in the G8 that they won, coming straight from Division 1. Dealt with Kotoko, dealt with Accra Suffolk in the finals. They are one of the dark horses in the league. 11 years, we've seen the absence of Accra Suffolk lifting the league title. Kumasi Asante Kotoko, more than 5 years now. And looking at the media hype, we want to see how they will be faring with those who are having the box, Midiama and Lagos Cities. So we are going to have a great league this year, a league that everybody want to showcase that they've done the best in the off season. I've seen some charts. People are already predicting those who will be winning and those who will be going on relegation. As we start, before the whistle blows for this afternoon's game, everybody is a potential champion and a potential team that could be relegated. But
it only depends on how you perform, right?
It depends on how you perform.
Okay.
An enticing league.
2020. Sure. Yeah, we're running out of time, getting towards the finish line of the show. I'll give the final words to Dr. Pambo, because we took some amount of his time when he was making that submission. But Doc, we have the trouble lurking around us, but we also need to live, and we also need to play our football. So we need to find a way.
Yeah, so I'll just say that we, the medics in sports, definitely just have our jobs cut for us. The General Secretary should be thinking of pay raises here and there.
I was going to talk about I've not slept on that, because the clubs have been calling me about this playing behind closed doors. And the fact that money is a big issue. It's a big issue. So I'm sure during the week we will have some engagements with the ministry.
So the decision to play sports in a pandemic, it's not cheap. I've been involved in wanting to do something in Kigali pre-COVID. When COVID came, we still wanted to have it in December. The budget shot up over $1 million. That was just going to be on testing and then having hotel exclusivity. Instead of keeping 2 people in a room, we're going to do one. And that alone sorted about $1 million. We have to keep it whole. So it's a tricky situation, but all I'll just say is that the players themselves should be very responsible people. If you are on a bench and not playing, wear your mask. When you finish, there's no point going to see Jama, because you want to, as much as possible, reduce exposure. So you must play. That's why you have to play and not wear a mask. But when you are not playing, wear the mask. If you're in your hotel, wherever you are, in the bars, wear the mask. Because you might be okay, but a player might have just gone around a bit with some small girl somewhere, picks the virus, brings it to camp, and everything is spoiled. My last plea goes to my own people, Ghana Health Service and the COVID Task Force. If we really want to create a good biosafety environment for us to be able to play the league, we should try and make sure we do the test and then we produce results on time. So I expect a team from Ghana Health Service to sit with the FA, look through the protocols and come up with something more robust, so we don't start blaming everybody, because sports has to be practiced at the end of the day. So it's up to us as medics to make sure it is safe. If it is not safe, we should come out and say that it is not safe. If we can make it safe, they'll make it safe, but it will be a shame for us to come out and say it's not safe, because it is our duty as medics to make it safe, and it must work. If not, then the president should declare a lockdown for all of us to stay in our rooms at the end of the day.
Well, how else can I say?
They asked me whether Oli was going to win the league.
Could you say I should answer that for us? All right, so
just to say that we wish the clubs and all the participants in the games the very best of luck.
Sure.
Let's go out there and make Ghana proud, because the matches will be viewed not only in Ghana but across the world. So thank you on that. I'm sure during the week the money issue will pick it up, because it's really I couldn't sleep. The clubs are really worried.
Well, we'll see about that. Gentlemen, we say thank you to all of you. It's been wonderful having this conversation. Time is never enough to discuss these issues. But of course, remember that this will be the home. This will definitely be the home of the Ghana Premier League, with live commentaries. And of course, you'd have to follow us this whole weekend as we bring you the best. Follow us on our social media handles as well. So Charles Aite is up next with the Joy Headline News at 2. Thank you all so much for listening. God willing, I'll be back next week, Saturday, with another Joy Sports Link. My name is Nathaniel Attoh, and I have love for sport.